What's going on, guys? All right, so my heat gun got stuck to my pouch. I'm gonna show you some corners. I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the back. We're gonna do these just corners, all right? I'm gonna show you how I do them. So we're gonna imagine that obviously this hood is a different color and that we're wrapping it in a different color. So, but you're gonna get the idea of how these corners go. So when we get to an edge like this, what we want to do is touch it with a bit of heat, soften the film, or you can do this cold. I prefer to add a little bit of heat, and then what I want to do is I want to pull it and then stretch it over. All right? One. I'm going to show you what happens after this. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So let's bring it back a little bit. 2. All right. What we want to do is we want to seal it off, make sure it's good. Cool. We're going to come back to that one. Now this one we have a bit of an obstruction. The hood is in the way. All right. So what we want to do is put some relief. All right. So we're going to make a tab. Let's get rid of this. What's up, buddy? I'm not showing now. I'm not actually laying this vinyl down nicely. I'm just doing it like this. So we have another obstruction right here. So what I would do for this area over here is I would lay into here first, and then once I get that around, I'm going to again cut a tab. So now I have just this corner to play around with, right? Same concept. Touch of heat. Now depending on your room temperature, this could be a cold stretch. I mean, like I said, cold stretches really depend on the temperature of your room. Boom, and I hit it with heat. Actually, I want to wait to show you guys all that in the end. So I'm going to do this again, because you're going to see how all these corners go down, all right? So I'm just going to get it around. We don't want to go too much stretch, right? But we do want to get it to the opposite edge. So on the bottom side of that edge, all right? So I'm not even going to look at it. I'm going to come back to it after. Let's go back to this one here. So this one is like a 2-in-1 corner. This corner here is a bit different than the one that's underneath right here. So if we look at the one under here, it's really pointy. This is also a corner though. This is a bit more tricky. So what we need to do for this one is, as soon as we get down to this part of this section of the car, what we can do is we can put a relief cut here and again, make a tab, right? So now we have this nice little tab, and I created this imaginary tab here right now with this small piece. With this nice little tab, we're going to heat it up a little bit, and then what we want to do is we want to contour it around this section here. So now it's going to hug into there. But what we want to do here is we want to make sure that we're pulling out and around, and then we won't even worry about that. We'll pretend that it was already better, but this, we're going to smooth all this out. Okay. I would have started the stretch from further back, but we're going to ignore what's there. We're only focusing on what's here. So now that I have all this done right here, and I have Christina come to this side. And so what happens when I hit this with heat? Boom, boom. Everything hugs in. How it can't pull back. It's already pulling back, right? So the fact that it's already pulling back means that we've just locked it in. We shrunk wrap this to itself, or to the panel. Let's move on to the front ones. Super basic stuff, guys. Like, this is, it might seem challenging, but it's really not that challenging. So I don't know if Christina can get the camera in and around this side here, but go ahead, it's fine. So we'll get the camera, it's good, focused. Okay. So again, I hit it with heat. All right. If I need to clean it up a little bit at this point, I can. It's soft. We can make sure that everything's nice and good. We're not overstretching the film, and everything is hugging the underside. And I'll show you how to trim these off in just a second also. Okay, let's move on to these two front ones. All right, hit it with heat. Boom, it's pulled back. It's shrunken itself around the corner. So the more you actually stretch the film and pull it around, the better it's going to shrink around itself. Now it's all about how you pull the film. You don't want to pull the film out and stretch it and then not heat it and shrink it back. You need to do that before you cut. The most important thing is to heat it after you cut. So, sorry, heat it before you cut so that it shrinks back. Let's do this one right here, right? So if I have a little wrinkle there, I can just fix it up a little bit if I need to. And this one I didn't stretch very much, while some of the other ones I stretched a little bit more. So again, it will depend on how exaggerated that stretch is. When it comes to cutting right now, let's do that. All we do is when we cut the corner, is we're going to cut it round, right? So we're going to start somewhere, wherever on our hood, wherever makes sense, and then come around. I probably could have done this with a different color. I'm just being a little bit lazy, but you'll see that there's no wrinkle there. We'll heat it again afterwards, as always. We always go over everything afterwards. Let's cut this one. Back of the blade on the underside, all right? And I'm putting a little bit of tension on the film. This way I can have a nice clean cut. Cool. So we'll go over it again a little bit afterwards with some heat. And then this one, again, I'm going to cut on the underside. I'm not going to trim it all the way down, but I'll get the idea. Alright, so I'm going to smooth it out. So did it like that so Christina can show you right there. So we have this beautiful corner. Alright, let's go to the back one. This one is just a matter of, we're going to trim down here on here. So I'll actually just do it the way I always do it, which is like this. So I will we have a nice little rubber seal that goes over this for the BMW, so it covers a lot of this. So if your cut is a little bit jagged on this area here, not a big deal. Try to make it smooth. It's just a good time to practice. Okay. Again, look where I'm cutting, on the bottom side of the corner. Cool. So once we're done all that, we're just going to heat it, and I'll heat it right now so you can see that there's no pullback. I'll come back. Give me 1 second. So we're going to heat it. All right. If there is a tiny bit, which there might be, just give it a little tap. All right. That's it. Let's go to the front ones, heat them up, see if they pull back. If not, we're pretty much good. This one's not moving at all. But even when I do that, I always touch them afterwards. I always kind of press down just to make sure everything's locked in really nicely, all right? That's how you do the nice corners. Here, again, nothing's pulling back. Cool, and here again, no pullback, right? So, one thing we don't have to worry about is pullback. Secondly, we have these beautiful corners that really showcase your work and make you look like a professional. They're not difficult to do. They only take a few seconds to do, and I just showed you how to do them. That's how you're going to do all of them. There isn't anything different about doing any of these corners than what I just showed you. Every corner on every car is going to be done exactly the same way, more or less, depending on how exaggerated you need that to be. But like I said, these are a little bit more wider, and then we have the pointier one on the back. It's generally the same thing. The pointier one on the back might need a little bit more stretch, while this one is more gradual, so we don't need to stretch it as much. But you get the point. I hope this video helps. I try to keep it short and sweet. I had it all set up for you. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more, hit the subscribe button. We're getting onto the bumper shortly. Thanks for watching. Take care.